How you doing, guys? Welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 4th of April 2021. It is pretty late. I've had a very busy day today, and I've only just managed to sit down in front of the charts. So what I've opted to do is I'm going to do a quick breakdown on CHSB, go over some of the things that we've seen today, and discuss what we can expect for this coming week. And then tomorrow, because it's bank holiday, I'm going to go through the remaining, and I'll discuss CHSB tomorrow as well. But I'll go through Bitcoin and Ether and Uni and Binance and so on, as I was going to do today. So that'll be forthcoming tomorrow. But I wanted to get something out tonight as well, as I like to follow through on what I say. As always, guys, these are my thoughts and opinions. Make sure that you're doing your own analysis. And whatever game plan you have, whether you're a trader, investor, whatever your plans are for the future, whatever you're trying to accomplish, with your trading and investing goals, make sure you have a strategy and plan and stick to what you're doing, because ultimately, we as the individual traders are responsible for our own decisions. And obviously, once you pull that trigger, it's on you. So you want to make sure that you're sticking to a solid plan. So with CHSB, I discussed all the way down, where price, was going to stop. I discussed all the way down as price was coming down. The liquidity pools, where we're going to see reactions, where price could potentially be going. We had a really nice response here, and since then, price stabilized the day after, and then today we had a really nice explosive move, or impulse. I won't say explosive, but we had a really nice impulse move to the upside. Going through that 115 level, which I made a mention of in the chat. So if I just drop down to the 4-hour, I was discussing this level here. So I'll pop this on the chart if you remember in the previous video. And I was saying I want to see price above 115, and if it stabilizes above 115 or thereabouts in that area, then we can expect more upside. Okay, so we've had this liquidity pool down here has effectively just been traded straight through. Okay, so that's gone. We have this remaining liquidity pool, which we're into about 50%. So price has come down, okay, and we're about 50% into this liquidity pool. So what I'm going to do, just to make it visually easier for you guys to see, is I'm going to bring the liquidity pool down to where the remaining liquidity is. Yeah. Now, there's people that have been around for years and years, with me on the YouTube channel. I had a Patreon thing as well, but it was just, I stopped doing that. And I've coached traders, I've spoke to traders, and I've been doing this for years. Okay, and what I've just done on the chart with this box, okay, is absolute gold. Yeah, if you pay attention to me removing the portion of liquidity that has been traded through and leave the remaining liquidity, okay, it should hopefully be a light bulb moment for a lot of people who are adept at technical analysis. Yeah, so just bear that in mind. And again, as you know, and I've said in the videos since I've been doing them up to this point, I'm extremely unorthodox in the way that I teach people, and the way that I like to talk about things, because I like to kind of force people to think and really think and do their own sort of analysis and homework, and try and figure these things out, because if you do it yourself, it will stick. Yeah, and the understanding will be there. This is not just theory at that point. Then you'll say, yeah, you know what, I see it and I get it and I understand why. So just again, a little nugget there that I've thrown in. Bear it in mind, and then we'll kind of just crack on. So we had a nice response from there. The next day we stabilized a little bit. Did seem like it wanted to come down. Okay, and then today, very nice pop to the upside. Okay, so we've got this 4-hour chart. Just kind of zoom out a little bit so we get most of it on. So you'll notice that when we had that first initial impulse just there, okay, so price came into the liquidity pool as we made a mention on the daily, and then it dipped a little bit more into this wick, all right, and then we had a nice little pop. And that first initial pop, I imagine there was a lot of people thinking, yep, this is it, this is the turn, we're going to go, we're going to rip, so on. But I kind of expected this was going to happen, because generally you'll find that, when you have what I call objective fulfillment, where price has fulfilled an objective. And just to make it really clear, Objective fulfillment, the way that I see it, okay, is once price has fulfilled a specific objective, then it should turn and go in the opposite direction to fulfill another objective. Okay, especially when you're dealing with higher time frames like the weekly and the daily, because they don't really turn that much. You know, when you get a nice turning point on a daily or a weekly chart, it tends to continue for quite some time. You know, whereas if you're seeing it on the 15-minute chart, you know, you're going to get turns all over the place, and it's kind of just, you know, volatility bouncing around left, right, and you're not really, you can't really add too much weight to the 15-minute chart or the hourly chart, for example, because those trends aren't going to last. You know, they're relative to the time frame that you're looking at. Whereas when you're dealing with the daily, you know, and the weekly, and obviously the monthly, you know, you get a turn on a monthly chart, that thing's going for a very, very long time before it, you know, before it starts to go in the opposite direction again. So, and then obviously in between all of that, you get consolidations and so on. So, you know, they really last. So when we see this impulsive move just here, I wasn't expecting, obviously this is, you know, outside of the video that I did, and I was just kind of thinking about the way price, you know, is behaving. I wasn't expecting price to just continue and start to rip to the upside. You know, I'm expecting in the next few days, you know, that price is going to kind of settle a little bit. You know, I know that it's picked up liquidity down here now. I know it's fulfilled objective. You know, I know it's completed its objective, and it's, you know, we've had objective fulfillment, you know, for a lot of different reasons, context of what we're seeing on the daily chart and the weekly chart. You know, and some of the things that are being confirmed on the hourly and the 4-hour chart with the way the flows are moving. For me, you know, it was pretty much a given, you know, that we were going to get a pop at some point, but I wasn't sure which day it was going to happen, obviously. And this was just a very nice confirmation. This impulsive candle just there, that impulse candle just there, was a really nice giveaway. And as you can see, track price, yeah, really track price with the crosshair as I'm doing it. You know, so price came in, you know, it came in, started to accelerate as it ran into the liquidity pool, you know, and I've made a mention of this before. Okay, so make a note of that as well. As price is accelerating, it's starting to get faster and faster and faster, and it's skipping as it's jumping into this liquidity pool. Okay, so it started to speed up, volume is increasing, and then it jumps very quickly into the liquidity pool. Okay, and then it stops, reverses a little bit, dips again, and then we get this nice impulse move to the upside. Okay, and again, there's a lot of ADR studies and things that you can do, or impulse studies that you can do regarding, you know, the average move up to this point, and then obviously the acceleration, you know, the velocity as it goes into the liquidity pool, and then this impulse just here went from, we're talking around about 95 cents all the way to 112, yeah, or almost 113. This is a very nice impulse candle. So when you get impulse candles like this after objective fulfillment, okay, the pullback is going to pick up liquidity. Yeah, the pullback's not going to go down and keep going and then take this out. It happens sometimes, but if that did happen, as I said in the previous video, if it happens, it's going to be quick and it will probably just snap down there. We could see that. I said that it could potentially snap down there, but I wouldn't expect it to go much lower than 90, and we'll get a nice reversal to the upside, and I believe I did mention the 80 level, which is kind of down here. Now I was saying if we get through this, and we're probably gonna have problems, but the 80 level for me was pretty much the line in the sand, and I certainly wasn't expecting that anyway. But you see this, you see this nice impulsive move to the upside, and as price is coming down, okay, it's picking up more liquidity. You get more accumulation. You know, so I'll do it like this for you, just to make it clearer. So if we just look at so the liquidity effectively is from here to here, all right, and this is denoting the liquidity pool here, right? And there's a reason, it's specific, that I went into the liquidity here, into the wick here. I've done this for so long, I'm able to kind of figure out roughly where the liquidity pool is, you know, within the whole candle. Yeah, and it's not just because it's a down candle. There's, you know, the up candle is just as important as the down candle. You know, liquidity pools aren't specific to up or down candles. That's not the way it is. But for me, the experience of doing this for so long, you know, I kind of know this is where the liquidity pool is, and you can see price has pretty much come all the way into it and almost accumulated the entire liquidity pool. So again, just to give you an idea, that last little portion there is where the liquidity should be. Yeah, that's what we're looking at now. That's what should be left. But it's enough, because remember where we've just come from. We've dug deep into a daily liquidity pool, big one, yeah, big strong liquidity pool. Okay, about 50% into that. We've had a nice impulse move away from that, and it's come down, picked up more liquidity, and then it started to move away from that and stabilize. Yeah, and we're watching this obviously throughout the the day, throughout the weekend. I'm watching this. I'm keeping an eye on this. I'm expecting it now, and I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, you know what? It's going to pop. It's going to pop. It's going to pop. But I don't know if it's going to be today. Could potentially be tomorrow, because there's nowhere else for price to go now. Yeah, and this is the beauty of being able to actually read and understand price the way it's being delivered, and not looking for a specific pattern. That's not what we're looking for. We have to look at the entire context of everything that we're looking at, from the monthly to the weekly to the daily to the 4-hour. And once we know that there's no liquidity left, or once we know that price has picked up enough liquidity, buy or sell, okay, once we know how that liquidity has been dealt off and what it needs to do next, okay, then we get a better idea of what the potential up move or down move is based on that information. And in this specific case, just to make it really, really clear and as simple as possible, with the way that price came into this liquidity pool on the daily chart and moved away from that and the accumulation phase after that point, there's nowhere else for price to go other than to seek liquidity on the upside. It has to. Because if it goes any lower, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah? And this is what kind of baffles people. I'm just going to go off on a little bit of a rabbit trail for a second. This is what baffles people with some of the things that I do, because they listen to what I'm saying, and they see all of this stuff unfolding, and it doesn't make sense from a technical analysis point of view or from a fundamental point of view, because it's like, well, hang on a minute. Fundamentally, this came out, but price did this. Technically, price did negative divergence or positive divergence with MACD and stochastics, and the RSI was doing this, and the moving averages are doing this. But what you're saying is just you're literally looking at candles, nothing else, and you're drawing a bunch of lines and boxes on your charts, and yet price seems to be doing exactly what you're saying it's supposed to be doing. Yeah, and it's a very strange feeling for people who've been trading for a very, very long time. And please don't misunderstand. I'm not the only one that does this. I know people that do what I do, because I've learned from other people as well, obviously, and they've learned from me. So I'm not unique. I'm not going to say it like that. There's plenty of traders out there that know what they're doing, and they use a myriad of different ideas and tools and methodologies and so on. But it's a very strange feeling to watch somebody do this stuff and not be able to match it with what actually makes sense from, say, a supply and demand point of view, from looking at the numbers on the website and saying, well, this is this is the circulating supply, this was the protect and burn, this is what happened, and these are the specific numbers, this is the market cap, and if I do all of the math, then price should be here, and price shouldn't be doing what you're saying it does. And yet, when I talk about the price and I go through the motions and I explain everything, and price seems to do what I'm saying it does, it really doesn't make sense, which leaves one answer basically, and that is, if I'm able to do this on Swissborg or Bitcoin or Euro USD or Tesla or an ETF or gold or silver or any other asset class, what does that mean for the market as a whole? Yeah, and how price is being delivered. Yeah, how price is being delivered when we see it on the charts, whether it's representative in candles, whether it's representative in a bar chart or a line chart, it's still price delivery. Yeah, so if this works on every asset class, what does that tell you about the market? Yeah, so just have a think about that. And again, I'm sorry guys for kind of just throwing bits in here and there, but trust me, you'll get it eventually. As I keep continuing to do these videos, it's really going to make sense to you, right? So prices had a really nice response today, right? And this is the area that we're interested in now, where we have this nice impulsive move to the upside. Okay, we had a really small pause just here. So we had the first initial impulse, and then we have this nice little pause here. Okay, And this is interesting because I have to look at the way price is pausing and what it's doing, and then we had the secondary pop, okay, and then a third pop that takes out this high, and then now price is stabilizing in this area, and it's just dipped a little bit here, okay. And there's a couple of areas that are specific that we need to be paying attention to, and that is this area here, okay. So we're gonna kind of bring this out, change the colors as well, just to kind of make them a bit more, to make it a horrible dark green color. And this is the first area that I don't want to see price go past. Okay, so effectively 105 is the dead spot for me. I really don't want to see price go past that point. If price does dip, there's a reason it's going to be dipping. Yeah, meaning if price just dips down, or whether it grinds lower or dips down, there's going to be a reason for this. I don't believe it's going to be because price is going to go and just continue going down to pick up any liquidity down here. I think any accumulation that CHSB has done up to this point is enough to start taking price now up to these highs over here, which I'm going to make a note of on the 4-hour chart. Okay, we'll take this off because we don't need this now. This was just to reference the 115 level. So I'm not expecting that to happen, but if price does drop and it starts to grind a little bit lower, and I'll take this off as well, then this is the first area I would expect price to go. But there's another area, okay, where if we just make a note of this little bit here, this little small section of price action, you can see that price has dipped into this and moved away a little bit, but there is a little bit more left of an imbalance just here. So if price does drop, I would expect this to be the first place where the imbalance is filled. And then it rebalances price here, and then dip into this liquidity pool down here, and then we get a nice price response away from that, and it starts to grind higher. Okay, but again, this is what I'm not saying it could or should happen. I'm saying if it does happen, and I'll put the crosshair back on. If it does happen, then this is the area where I don't want to see price get past. If it does shoot down there fast, yeah, and I mean really fast, this is what price will be going for. Oh, sorry. Can I do a... Yeah. If it shoots down there, this is what price should be shooting for, but it needs to do it fast, quick, and move away from that level as fast as humanly possible. So if price did drop, for example, and this is just, I'm throwing this in there just to show you that if it does happen, how incredible the response will be at this level. Yeah. So what I'm saying is to be really specific and clear. If price drops very quickly throughout the night, or if we wake up tomorrow and we see that price dropped, but now it's back up here, for example, then I would expect to see a very sharp, fast candle all the way down into this level, okay, and then a reversal, leaving something like that candle just there in its wake. Yeah. So just imagine that candle right here. So that one with the long tail, basically there. Yeah, that's what I would expect to see if price touches this level. So we'll see what happens. But again, I'm not seeing that. I'm just saying if it happens, the price response at this level will be imperative. And if it does happen, obviously, then it's just cleared up all imbalances, and we're not going to see lower prices. Period. That's it. So going forward into the remainder of this week, or the start of this week, going into the sort of first 2-3 days of this week, should I say? For me, and I'm kind of getting bored of these boxes. Just trying to think if there's a better way. We'll just use this. This is where I want to see price. Okay. And that's where I'm going to say, and I'm expecting price now. This is what it's reaching for. So we want to see price continue doing what it's doing now. If it does drop, that's fine. Come down here, grab some more liquidity, do whatever you need to do. But this is what price is gunning for now, sort of 125 level. And I do expect to see 125 this week now. Unless something insanely dramatic happens. Sorry, let me just have a drink, guys. Unless we see something insanely dramatic, okay, something that we have no control over, something that we simply, cannot forecast, then, unless something like that happens, then I believe we're going to see 125 now, and then after 125, the key level, the most important levels on the chart, as I've said right from the start up to this point, is the 135 to 140. this is effectively the area 135 to 140, you know, where we really want to see price. If it gets back up there, or when it gets back up there, not if, that's going to be the key level in terms of overall market, you know, movement, whether or not we're going to be going sideways and this is going to take some time to reach previous highs, or whether we're going to see price just go for it, you know, and get to these previous highs a lot quicker. But we'll address that when the time comes. For now, this is the area where I believe price is drawing to. So this is the draw on price. This is where price wants to be sort of ran to, and as long as we stabilize in this area, then we should be okay. Okay, any dip, line in the sand. Okay, lower level. If it drops down there, then expect to see one of these really nice candles left in its wake as it starts to grind back up again, and it will be sharp and fast. But either way, that's the draw on price, 125. That's the target for the next couple of days. So unless something dramatic happens, then that's the target for me. All right. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. I do apologize for ranting a little bit, and as always, I hope that the video finds everybody well, and I hope you guys find it informative. And I will catch up with you at some point in the chat tomorrow, and obviously in the video that I'm going to do tomorrow. Just as a quick side note, just a quick shout out to Danzo as well. You know, he does videos. You know, he went through a really good video today on psychology. So those of you in the chat who know, you know, Danzo, make sure that you subscribe to his channel and watch his videos because they're very good. Yeah. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention is we've got a cafe next week on Thursday. It'll be 6:30 GMT time, okay, or 8:30 plus 2 hours GMT. Ben will be hosting that, and I'll be co-hosting the chat as well. So make sure that you, if you can make it anyway, at least you know, make sure you sign yourself up for that. You don't have to sign yourself up, but just go to the poll section on the Discord, give it a thumbs up to let everybody know that you're going to be there. You know, and it should be an interesting session for us to discuss. You know, what's going on with a lot of different ideas. You know, and obviously gives everybody an opportunity as well to discuss, you know, their ideas, give us feedback and so on. So make sure you're there, guys. Make sure you're there. All right. So that's it. I'll leave it at that. I hope everybody has an awesome evening, and I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Take care.